All right, everybody, who's up for Movie News Episode 2? So I am back with a brand new update on upcoming movies and a lot of the movie news that's going on out there. And so I have plenty of photos to show you since my episode last week. So let's get started because this could be a long one. All right, so the first photo I have for you here is Clint Eastwood. It states that he has begun filming his last film. So this guy's been acting for the better part of 50 to 60 years, and he's coming into his twilight of his career, and this will be his final film, Juror Number 2. So it'll be interesting to see if this is any good. His last 5 films or so have been kind of mediocre, and we'll see if this one ends up being a good film or not. But at his age, he should probably just kind of relax and enjoy the rest of his life. And that should go for Harrison Ford as well. So here we go. Disney plans to re-release a bunch of movies for their 100th anniversary. And we've got some big Disney news I'm going to be talking about here in a little bit towards the end of this review. Some breaking news that happened today that is very interesting. But it says you could see some classic Disney movies in theaters this summer. Disney's 100th anniversary theatrical re-release date set for The Lion King and 7 more. And let's take a look at what these movies are going to be. So the first is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, July 7th to July 20th. Then they will re-release Toy Story, July 21st to August 3rd. The animated movie that started Pixar off with a bang. Afterwards, we have the animated musicals Frozen from August 4th to August 17th, and Beauty and the Beast from August 18th to August 31st. Following those will be the Pixar superhero movie The Incredibles, September 1st through the 14th, followed by their fantasy movie Coco, September 15th to September 28th. The last 2 movies will be their famous 1994 animated movie, The Lion King, September 29th to October 12th, and their musical, Moana, October 13th to October 26th. So lots of cool re-releases coming from Disney, and there's a reason they're doing this, because they are hurting for money. And we're going to see what they plan to do about this, or Bob Iger specifically, in a little bit. So there's going to be a movie for the TV show Community. This has long been gestating for many years, but it says here, sounds like Troy will be back. Community movie cast. Donald Glover returns. His return is confirmed by Joel McHale. This has been a long time coming. I really enjoyed this show. Did not see the final couple of seasons, but I am looking forward to going back and watching it from the beginning and then checking out the movie when it finally does get released. So for people who don't know, Tron 3 is moving forward over at Disney, and it says Evan Peters is joining the cast. This is also going to star Jared Leto, and it does not look like it is a direct sequel from the last film, Tron Legacy. Legacy is one of my probably top 10 favorite films. I have a poster in my theater room. Love it. Not really thrilled to hear that they're not bringing the director back or the cast from the last film. I think it should have been a continuation. But we'll see how this ends up when it does finally get released. Everything is on hold because of the strike, but this is something I am looking forward to, even though I'm disappointed. So it says here, now we have the upcoming 3rd movie called Tron Ares. Peters, famous for his role as Quicksilver in the X-Men series and Jeffrey Dahmer in Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, joins the cast. The cast also includes Jared Leto in a lead role. Who is directing Tron 3? Tron Ares will be directed by, I don't know how you say that, I think it's Joachim Ronning, who previously directed Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which was my favorite of the series, and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. All right, so that is coming from Disney. Now, this is something I had to check out. It says Schwarzenegger is bringing back John Matrix for Commando Retribution. Schwarzenegger is back as John Matrix for Commando Retribution, which I thought was going to be for a video game. But in fact, it is for another movie. So he is coming back. That's one of my favorite films from the 80s. I actually just watched that not that long ago. I have that on Blu-ray. I love this movie. It's definitely a total 80s movie through and through, and it'll be interesting to see him back in that role again. We'll see if they get Alyssa Milano to come back as well. Here they talk a little bit about it. It says the long-gestating Commando reboot is seemingly inching forward, with original star Arnold Schwarzenegger signing on to reprise as John Matrix for the follow-up to the 1985 film. There has been bits and bobs of a new Commando film over the years. At one stage, the powers that be were eyeing a complete redo, but in recent years, another film featuring Schwarzenegger started to take shape. With the Oak started to really warm up to reprising some of his classic roles, he's also said to still be keen to reprise Conan for a new film. It's no surprise the Fubar star agreed to return for a sequel to one of his most popular films. Now this is pretty cool. I don't really cover Marvel stuff on my channel, but it says Deadpool 3. Here's the first look. Hugh Jackman debuts Wolverine's classic yellow-blue suit and teams up with Ryan Reynolds. Now that's pretty freaking cool. I can't wait to see the mask. But Marvel is understanding what the audience wants, and they're giving it to them, unlike DC and Warner Brothers Discovery. All right, so this goes back to what I discussed earlier in this video with Disney. And this comes from Bob Iger himself. It says Disney may be selling off the ABC network, its local stations, FX, Freeform, and their 50% stake in A&E Networks. Somebody said, let me rephrase that. Disney may have to sell off the ABC network, its local stations, FX, Freeform, and their 50% stake in the A&E networks. Because as it turns out, diversity is not their strength. Disney has lost $1 billion on the last 9 movies and TV shows it has produced because they market against the very people who would pay to see what they produce. They market against the straight white male and the white American family. Now, we could do without that last little bit in this, but the rest is true. They have focused so much on diversity that people are not going to see their movies. And that is a fact. They are catering to a very small segment, and it is hurting their business. And in fact, we've got even more big news coming from Bob Iger here in a few minutes. Now, this is pretty crazy. I have my review of Sound of Freedom already up on my review playlist if you haven't seen that yet. But it says ticket sales for Sound of Freedom are expected to go up this last weekend as the drama looks to finish in second place on box office charts. Wide releases hardly ever see a week-to-week increase in attendance. And it's true, this movie has taken the country by storm as the country is waking up to the horrors of things that are happening in high society, America and around the world, between politicians, between Hollywood elites, as well as people from other countries, basically rich people. There is a dark underbelly of child sex trafficking, and you can see that in my review. So I'm going to be doing a box office update here on a separate video, but it says Mission Impossible 7 collected $56.2 million between Friday and Sunday, a lackluster start for a movie that cost nearly $300 million before marketing. Now, that is not its take around the world. Around the world, they made about $250 million, which means, it cost nearly $300 before marketing, and marketing is very expensive. This movie has to make about $800 million to break even, and that is probably not going to happen, and you'll see that in my box office report later in another video. So here's a follow-up to that. It says Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning launched with a mighty $235 million globally, including a $155 million debut at international box office. So that's what it took in over the weekend, but that's not nearly enough to cover for their $800 million they need to make to probably break even. So it was announced today that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny breaks even at the international box office. So this movie has finally made about the money it needed to recoup its costs for filming, but not everything. There's still the theater costs and the promotion that they need to make up, but it has crossed a milestone. I think it's a fantastic film. If you're an Indiana Jones fan, it is well worth seeing. My review is up also on my review playlist. I encourage you to go check that out if you're interested in seeing the movie. It's a fantastic film. Now, here's something interesting about Christopher Nolan that came across my plate. This is movie-related, and it's funny. He said several revelations from Christopher Nolan following his new interview with French media. He will never make a TV series. He also no longer wants to make superhero films. So a Batman film is probably never going to happen. He declined to say if he will ever direct a Star Wars film, though. Now, that's interesting. I would love to see a Nolan Star Wars film. I think that would be something incredible. He will still be making films in 10 years. He will never have a TikTok account. I'm with him there. I will never have a TikTok account either. It's not a problem for him to watch films on a phone or computer. Now, I don't like watching films that way, but, to each his own. But that's pretty cool stuff. I think Nolan is a genius. Now, this is pretty freaking cool. I hope this is true. It says, breaking, Disney is reportedly making a live-action Gargoyles movie with the director of Thor. Gargoyles movie reportedly in the works with Kenneth Branagh to direct. He's a good director. I would love to see him come in and direct it would be cool to see. This is probably my favorite cartoon series from Disney. I have the entire run on DVD. I love this show when it was released. It's pretty cool. Even to today's standards, it's a great TV show. If you've never checked it out, it's worth checking out if it's on Disney+. All right, so let's talk about this Bob Iger news. So he has extended his contract through 2026. Okay, it's a done deal. He is now exploring options to sell off Disney entirely. He just may wash their hands of it and have somebody buy it and take it over. That's a crazy prospect. If that happens, I hope it would be a company that respects it and could bring it back to where it needs to be. It'll be interesting to see if that includes Lucasfilm. I'm sure that would include Lucasfilm and the Marvel franchise. It'll be interesting to see if that does happen. But lots of stuff going on with movie news, even though the strike is going on. And I will continue to bring you the movie news every week. I plan on doing an episode either on Sunday or Monday of every week. I plan on keeping those days for the box office updates as well as general movie news. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next episode.